Greet you all, also officially open this meeting. We have a full day content actually, so a half day program, but I'm sure that what we will hear, it would be enough for quite a full day. And as we organized also this lightning talks, this is like a very rapid online format, and we have also keynote speakers on board. You will learn more about all our speakers very soon, but my duty is just to announce today's topic. We try to do a little contribution to map our STEAM education situation, obviously not only in Finland and Hong Kong, because education and educational systems are not just exist in a vacuum, but they are really interconnected, and we must see also reflect to our situation in a planetary context. So we would like to welcome speakers actually from all over the world, though there will be some emphasis obviously on Finnish and Hong Kong situation in this planetary context, because this whole conference been initiated by GRIFE, which is the Global Research Institute for Finnish Education, established by the Hong Kong University of Education. And here we have also prominent speakers from our partner university, and also we have the initiator and chairman of whole GRIFE Institute, Professor Yuzo Tsai. And I would like to ask Professor Yuzo Tsai to greet our participants and say a few words about what is GRIFE doing, and what's the role, what's the purpose, what's your work about in GRIFE network. Thank you. The floor is yours, Professor Yuzo Tsai.
Okay, thank you. I'm trying to share the screen. I'm not sure if you are able to see it.
Yes, we see it very well. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So good morning and good afternoon, everybody. I'm Yuzo Tsai from the Global Research Institute for Finnish Education. So I'm the co-director of the institute. So as Christoph just introduced, so the institute is located at the Education University of Hong Kong. So as you can see, okay, let me see. As you can see on the screen, so this is a website. Actually, this is a new website. I just want to promote a little bit so you can access. I also put the website link to the chat box, so you can take a look of the new website. So for GRIFE, we have been quite actively developing our ambitious goals to become a global frontier in the studies of Finnish education from comparative and international perspectives. We also would like to enhance the impact of the Institute on education reforms and policy development worldwide. So you can see we have very ambitious goals, but we mainly operate the center or the institute through 5 special interest groups. So now we are in the activities or the conference of STEAM. STEAM is one of the special interest groups, or SIGs. So in addition, we also have, now I stop, sharing the screen so you can see me better. We also have others 4 SIGs, including early childhood education and special needs education, higher education, media education, and digital competency, STEAM education, and teacher education. So we have 5 SIGs. We are mainly in this moment, collaborating between education university and the Finnish universities. Almost all the Finnish universities having faculty of education are joining the GRIFE network. Now we have the goal, at least in this year, to expand the network more globally. So we're also organizing the second GRIFE conference in June. So in this conference, we have more representatives from different parts of the world. So you are welcome to join the conference. So I also later put the conference website there. So it's okay. So I was told I have 3 minutes for presenting briefly, but thank you so much for offering me the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Professor Yuzo Tai, for bringing GRIFE to us. Yes, and now I would like to ask Professor Levi Chin from the Education University of Hong Kong to open our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, distinguished guests, okay, Professor Lundau, Dr. Wen, esteemed colleagues, students, ladies and gentlemen, this is Wai Chin, also from SU Hong Kong, and welcome to our first STEAM online conference hosted by the STEM Special Interest Group of the Global Research Institute for Finnish Education, the Education University of Hong Kong. It is a very great honor to represent SU Hong Kong at this very significant event. As we gather virtually from various corners of the world, we embark on a journey to explore the themes of mapping STEAM education in Finland and Hong Kong by tackling global educational challenges. This theme is not just timely, it is also very essential as we seek innovative solutions to the pressing challenges faced by educators and learners in our diverse landscapes. So throughout this conference, we shall engage in insightful discussion, share best practices, and collaborate on strategy that will enhance STEM education. Together, we have the opportunity to bridge the gap between our unique educational contexts, fostering a spirit of cooperation and shared knowledge. So I encourage all of you to actively participate, share your insights, and connect with one another. Your contribution are vital to success of our discussion and also the advancement of STEAM education in both Hong Kong and also Finland. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to an inspiring and proactive conferences. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Levi Chin, for the warm welcoming words and your contribution to bring together also this meeting and many other things is well appreciated together with your colleagues and team. Thank you so much. So I would like to ask now my colleague Josephine Lau to greet us.
Yes, Christoph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you hear me,
Yes,
Christoph?
I can see you and hear you. Yeah, perfect.
Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I have some technical problem as well. Just now my computer got shut down because of the battery. Yeah, so but the problem is solved, and then now I'm going to deliver my speech on behalf of JYU. So dear esteemed guests, colleagues, and friends, so on behalf of the University of Uvascular Special Interest Group STEAM from GRIFE, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to this conference, Mapping STEAM Education in Finland and Hong Kong by Tackling Global Educational Challenges. We are truly delighted to have such a distinguished and diverse group of researchers, educators, and practitioners gathered here today to engage an insightful discussion on STEAM education. So we also took pride in this strong international perspective that this conference embraces. The global challenges we face today require a collective effort. And through events like this strengthen our network and enrich our understanding on how STEAM education can be promoted in diverse cultural and regional settings. So once again, I warmly welcome you all and every one of you. So may this conference can be fruitful and inspiring experience for us all. And thank you for being here. And I will put a link of our research group so you can follow our news later on. So enjoy this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Josephine, for greeting us. And I would like to just underline one point which been already introduced by our speakers. Professor Yuzo Tsai shared this link, and also my friend Professor Wai Chili also referred to this. So we are preparing to a huge congress. I would say it's not anymore a conference. I think this is the second GRIFE annual conference on educational innovation, talent development for sustainable future, Chinese, Finnish and global perspectives. We have Professor Pasi Sahlberg, Lee John Chi Kin, the president of Hong Kong University, who's also UNESCO professor, Lee Bakun, Beijing Normal University, Niemi Hannele, another UNESCO professor, a very prominent mathematics educator from Brazil. And well, I don't even have time now to just name all of the distinguished speakers. And then also really dozens of more speakers, excellent speakers, are joining us in Hong Kong in the mid of June. So I really would like to invite you to attend this conference, and also look for the materials and the many publications which will be the results of this meeting. So my goal and my task is only to ask Josephine to introduce our Padlet, because we have this interactive tool, and I would like to encourage you to use it already from now. So Josephine, just a few sentences about Padlet. What's this and how it works?
Okay, yeah, thank you, Christoph. And then, yeah, I will just share my screen for a very brief moment. And then, so my colleague Oshi has been very nicely shared the link of the Padlet already. And then, so for this conference, and it is for our pre-conference and then during conference and after conference usage. So we will be using this platform to voice out our opinion and also perspective on STEAM education. So feel free to do all the meet and greet here in this column. And then if you have any pre-conference questions, just put it here. Yeah, for any conference question. Yeah, so we have a very good team to answer your technical problems here. And then during the keynotes and also lightning talks, because we have very tight schedule, so we may not have a live Q&A for you all. So please put your questions here, and then we will address them during the moderated discussion that will be starting after the keynotes and also the lightning discussion. And these are the two columns that we will be using during the moderated discussion section. So so please feel free and then explore and then voice out your opinions on this Padlet. And if there are any challenges in accessing it, so just text it on the chat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Josephine. We all can contribute to this. This is really wonderful. I'm really grateful for having this tool also implemented in the meeting. So now I would like to invite on stage Professor Jan Lundell, who was the professor of University of Jyväskylä, still maybe in the recent time, in recent months, but from very recently he moved his seat to University of Helsinki, to the Faculty of Science, and also he's the main director of the Luma Center Finland, Luma Network Finland, and he's a professor of chemistry, as he kindly shared the secret that he's a specialist of low temperature chemistry. And we were just joking about that Finland is a good place in some part of the year to do low temperature chemistry, but he's also a true alchemist of engagement and motivation. So he's really the person who has all passion to education, to share his passion for chemistry, and also to recognize a lot of links with chemistry, even in the whole culture. And now he will invite us into his kitchen, and we will see how to cook with steam, some phenomenon-based learning. So Professor Jan Lundell, the floor is yours. Thanks a lot for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Christoph, and thank you, organizers, for giving me this possibility to be here and to reveal some of the secrets of the Finnish educational innovations. First of all, I have to congratulate the organizers to organize this event on a day of pie, because pie goes directly into cooking. And this is what we are going to talk about today. We are also trying to cook things with steam. And first of all, I have to explain what STEAM means to me. STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. In Finnish, it's an abbreviation LUMA, natural sciences and math. So LUMA Center is the STEM center in Finland. 13 centers, 11 research universities. A stands for art, usually. And this is what Christoph has been stressing me about, that A is art. Well, cooking is partially art. It's an art form. Cook as you like, but do it properly, do it well, do it tasty. For me, A is a little bit more. A is all sciences, all connections, all possibilities, which means that how do you integrate STEM with everything else, the social, cultural, educational, any kind of an environment. And then, because we are in Finland, we are very focused on phenomenon. So how things look, how things appear. And since I'm a chemist by training, so one of the things I do all the time is observe. And what do I observe? The different phenomena occurring in life, in environment, in everyday life that we have. And because I'm a chemist, I also want to test things, to do things on my own, not just observe them. I want to analyze how things work and how to understand things, and finally, maybe even react to the new observations and findings. So this is the background of my talk. And I'm trying to be very brief in cooking things up with this team here. So when we talk about chemistry, chemistry is an experimental science. So this goes also with physics, this goes on biology, geography. You have the experimental part. You always test something, you want to learn something. And we know that inquiry-based learning is now a big issue everywhere. We want to have the students to learn by being active in the learning process. And chemistry is one good example how we involve experimental science. We do laboratory experiments, but then our laboratory can be a much larger concept than just a laboratory in a research facility. It can be everywhere. It can be nature, it can be home kitchen, as we are going to see here. And the question is just how, as we, as educators, employ these surroundings for learning possibilities to create the learning opportunities for the students. And this is what we've been tackling in chemistry. And one of the big issues was the recent pandemic, where everything went online in overnight. So now we have a big dilemma. We want the students to work actively with laboratory experiments in order to learn and this very nice handicraft of chemistry. But how do you do that online? You can't put the laboratories online. Well, you can if you have millions of dollars, millions of euros to do that. You can build remote controlled laboratories. But is that the same thing that the students could use? No, it's not. It's not feasible by any means. So we were thinking how to involve students, how to engage them into experimental working. And then we have to reconsider the whole concept of experimenting in science. We need to create something that is interesting. We need to create something that is accessible and accessible for all people. And most likely it needs to be very cheap as well, so everyone has the possibility, the equal possibility to do experimenting on their own. And this is something that we tackled in the recent years when I was still in Jyväskylä, and my colleagues are still doing this in Jyväskylä, and how to do this online. And I'm going to show you what we actually cooked up with this. So we just devised something that is common for everyone. And in Finland, when we're talking about inquiry and phenomenon-based learning, this is something we need to involve. So we need to take something that is phenomenal. We need to have something that you can observe and test yourself. We want to have active learning. That means, if possible, don't do it alone, but do it with your friends, do it with your colleagues, do it with your parents, grandparents, siblings. Do that learning process in a social context. And this is important. This is what we want to have. Then we need to have something that makes sense. Make sense is something that the students in school ask all the time. What is this good for? Well, we need to have something that actually addresses everyday life and something that they are familiar with and they can be familiarized with. That means we need to have a good context, reasonable context. We need to have a relevance. What is the relevant thing in learning something? How can I use it? How I can apply it in future? It needs to be meaningful. It needs to be engaging, and you need to have a motivation to learn things. And of course, because we are working at the university, we are research-based, evidence-based, everything. So that means that we are actually looking for evidence that it works. Okay, so what did we do? We cooked up online courses for everyone, for big public, for teacher training, for any person who's interested about cooking. And of course, we are all interested about cooking. I hope you had a very nice breakfast in Europe this morning. I hope you had a very nice lunch in Hong Kong, so you can have your stomach full of ideas after this session and the webinar. But what we do, we created 2 online courses. Anyone can attend this. And the idea is just to combine chemistry with the science of cooking. So how things are done, in which way. And this slide has a lot of things in Finnish, but the main idea is that there are 2 online courses. Both of these courses are formed in 4 modules. 3 of them are related to science of cooking. The first course, Kitchen Chemistry or Chemistry of Kitchen, deals with the molecular gastronomy. What is kitchen chemistry? How to boil, fry food, and the science behind that. And then acids and bases in science. So this is really basic chemistry education, but in a chemistry context. The second course is applied kitchen chemistry, how you can do cleaning with the kitchen ingredients, how you can preserve food, how you have a sustainability in the production of food and the preparation. So this is a context that we have. And then, of course, we have the high school student special course for promoting the learning in high schools as well. So this is what we did. And because time is short, so I'm just showing what did we do. Every module that we have in the courses has an online cooking experiment to do for the students. This means that they can use their own home kitchen as a laboratory and try something that is meaningful for them. Very simple, very cheap, very fast. Well, most of the time fast. And also gives the idea of a scientific phenomenon inside a cooking process. So we can do frying an egg, just there are so many ways you can fry or boil an egg. And that's basic science, how to treat the chemical process in that context. You can prepare mayonnaise, you can prepare butter. The longest experiment we have is the red cabbage indicator, which is actually used by many teachers in schools today as a pH indicator, so acid-base indicator, which is cheap, easy to prepare, and easy to use, and it's even better, it covers the whole acid-base pH range. So that's a very simple way to do homemade acid-base indicator. And you see here also the content, in the sense that what is the science behind it. So the catch here is, let's do something simple. Let's learn also the science behind it, understand how it behaves as it behaves, what happens when we do the science. So this is the educational model that we built into the online courses. And even better, we told the students or the learners that they can actually use these experiments in the context of their family or friends. So fry the egg with the family and do it many times over. That means you can do it for the mom, for the father, for the siblings, and you can test the experimental conditions at the same time. What we wanted them to do is also to document everything in order to see what they did and to see how they reflect on their own documentation, because that gives us idea of engagement and relevance. What are they focusing on? So there's the research component in this. So the learning targets is just to make a practical work, observe what happens, and connect that with the scientific background. And these are the learning the targets of the courses. So it's just to see that science happens every day, especially in kitchen. It's just pure magic. It's not pure magic, but it's actually pure science what you're doing in the kitchen. And even though people have their own tendencies of doing kitchen chemistry in their own way, actually they are applying scientific basic knowledge in doing things. They just don't realize it happens. And this is what we also want to achieve. So what we want the students to do is to observe the phenomena that they have there, how to connect that to the scientific background, carry on experimental work. Do it several times if you want. You have the possibility to do whatever you want in your own kitchen. And we want to train the learners to make observations and to understand the science behind it. And actually, when you talk about kitchen chemistry, this is also about having a connection for future life. So you learn cooking as well at the same time. What we have from a questionnaire that we implemented in the course, so I have to say that we use the courses also for a PhD project to understand how to implement online experimenting as part of the educational system. So they liked it. The students liked it. There is seems to be a good balance between theory and the practice, which means that we are not overwhelming the students with the scientific facts, but actually we have exactly those that explain what is happening. There is clearly a motivation to learn, and the learners actually gain the scientific information. And they like also the pace of the experimenting, because there is no hurry, deadlines, anything that they need to achieve, but actually they can do it in their own time, in their own pace. So that's positive. Then, are the experiments easily done? Yes, most of them says that all of these experiments are more or less easy to achieve, easy to make. And this is something we wanted to have. Experimental work, scientific experiments that are easy to do and easy to understand. That's the catch. And it makes sense for the learners as well. And then what we get as a response is that when we look on inquiry-based, phenomenon-based approach, that's the kitchen, that's the real life, that's frying the egg. The contents are relevant. There is the relevance in doing things, and the feedback we get that there is something happening in their minds. They understand why things happen. And actually, one of these, the lower comment that we have here is actually from a cook from the industry that came to the course and wanted to learn the science behind the cooking he was doing. So that shows that there is a need, even in the society, to understand the scientific background of everyday life. So that's the main thing. Cook as you like. So please keep cooking, do cooking, but it might be advantageous to know why things happen as they happen. And the nice red picture that we see here, that's the red cabbage, prepared to be the indicator that we can use in schools, home, birthday parties as a spectacular magic event. It's a very nicely working experiment. And finally, I have to acknowledge my colleagues, Asmo Roponen and Jouni Välisaari. Jouni is actually part of the audience here today, that have been very active in creating this learning model, learning pattern that we are using. And I thank you for your attention, because it's the day of pie. Have a piece of pie today. Thank you.
Bravo, bravo. Thank you so much for this dynamic opening. First, I thought that it's a dish of borscht. This very specific food, regional food, is cooked up here in the last slide, which is also means that we can also cook with our local ingredients. So though steam is very international, very planetary, but local ingredients really give the taste for steam. Thank you so much, Professor Jan Lundell, for joining us. And as you already heard in the introduction, so we have the Padlet to be used to place your questions, to place your comments, which we will bring back in the open discussion in the closing part of the conference. And now it's my pleasure to invite our next keynote speaker on stage, who is Professor Wan Zihong Peter, and he's an associate professor of the Education University of Hong Kong. And he also have a very wide teaching practice. He has been a middle school teacher for several years, but now he's very active on many STEAM and STEM fields, like important topics of career aspiration, impacts of design-based STEM learning, understanding the integration in STEM and cultivating students with ADHD, and STEM, robotics, and several journals and associations and committee memberships are acknowledging his many contribution to STEM and STEAM education. So Professor Wan Zihong, the floor is yours. Welcome.
Okay, thanks, Christoph, and Professor Jan, and Dr. Lee, and all the colleagues. Good afternoon. And it's so. Can you see my screen now? I think you can see now.
Yes, we can see very well.
And I'm Peter Wan from the Education University. Actually, I have been a school teacher for 5 years, and in recent 5 years, I'm just in STEM education. And actually, STEM education or STEAM education is a very hot topic worldwide. And but this actually is a cross-disciplinary approach to teaching. And we need, in order to implement STEM education very well, we need to go across the boundary of these different disciplines. Actually, there are many challenges. And actually, today I will introduce the Hong Kong experience to how we handle the challenges, use different kind of theories and technologies to implement STEM education. And here the platform I will introduce is called Sweetie. Actually, Sweetie is a acronym of 7 steps of STEM education. I will introduce later. Actually, before I introduce this is my experience, I will go through quickly about some basic concept of STEM education. First, STEM education, the key features of STEM education, which is different from the traditional teaching, it is because it's very cross-disciplinary. Integration is a key feature of STEM education. Of course, in broad sense, disciplinary STEM education, we also call it STEM education, but if we just focus on disciplinary, we can, it's nonsense to introduce the Newton STEM. Okay, so integration is a key feature of STEM education. So why we need to integrate? There's some reasons for you to integrate different disciplines. And actually, this related very important vision of STEM education. We can find in many documents. Actually, we can find in documents innovation. Innovation. Actually, this is the first document mentioned STEM education. Actually, why we need to integrate different disciplines? Because we expect students can be more innovative in their life, in their future work. So how can people be not innovative or creative? They have many connections among different areas in their brain, and they can generate different ideas and through connecting different areas. So we need to use such kind of cross approach to stimulate the groups, the change of the brain to make them more creative. Okay, this is the basic psychological reason for we to promote interdisciplinary STEM education. The second concept is STEM education for all. Actually, we can find maybe in some regions, some classroom students most of students may be excluded from the STEM education. Maybe teacher think it too difficult beyond the capacities of normal students. But I think in the many documents mentioned, STEM education should be all. Sometimes students may not good at examination, but they can be very creative. We should provide a new opportunity for different students to show their creativity in the learning context. This is the basic concept of STEM education. But in order to make STEM education for all students, normally we need more teacher can teach STEM. This is a really challenge in practice. Okay, this is also we need handle in our teaching training programs. So we call it STEM should be for all, and STEM teaching should be taught by all. So this is a very important vision to realize our goals of make STEM education help everybody, every student. But if want to make STEM education for all, there are at least two levels of challenges. The first one is the structure of STEM curriculum. Okay, we all call it STEM activities, but it's seldom we had people get STEM curriculum because all the curriculum should include activities, but not all activity can be called a curriculum. As a curriculum, it needs a structure. There's a relationship between activity and activity. Students should learn from the easier stage and step by step to the higher stage. So we need a structure, but it's difficult to generate a structure for STEM curriculum. I will introduce the reason later. The second is teaching methods. STEM education is not just doing. Okay, students should think during the doing process. How can we use or create a new or effective teaching methods to ensure students can both think and do something, and in the activity it's a really change. And the third one is the design of teaching kits. We can see many teaching kits in the market, but I'm not sure all these teaching kits can really enhance students' creativity. Some teaching kits just require students to finish the model step by step in a very routine way. I think this kind of teaching kits cannot inspire student creativity. Actually, it's killing student creativity. So I think the design teaching kits is also a very significant challenge in current STEM education. And in the Swedish curriculum, we firstly saw deal with three challenges. Okay, we call it the first version of STEM curriculum. Actually, after we solved the first challenge in the first level, we still have challenge in second level. The challenge is the teacher's confidence. Okay, teacher may not be there enough, okay, brave enough to cross different disciplines. This is a really challenge. And the second, how can we cater for learning diversities? Okay, how can we handle learning diversities during STEM learning? It's all are challenges in front of the education. Actually, I just before I introduce more detail of my curriculum, I show a video to share our journey of handle this curriculum. Okay, I will practice.
Interdisciplinary STEM education is a hot topic in global education reform. The Swedish STEM curriculum has three main features. Based on the theory of the four-phase industrial revolution, this curriculum organizes STEM curriculum activities into the levels to gradually develop students' creativity. At the same time, the Swedish pedagogy is adopted into whole activity designs, ensuring the quality and efficiency of each activity's implementation. With the six-dimensionally expandable teaching kits, students' thinking abilities can be maximally developed. The Swedish STEM curriculum combines traditional face-to-face and online learning methods, significantly reducing the difficulty of implementing STEM education, allowing teachers to start teaching STEM after just 2 hours of training. This innovative training approach is well received by frontline teachers and has already been implemented in over 60 schools. New technology, we recently had developed a Swedish AI agent. Always available to help students explain the learning content on the platform, discussing the problems that arise during the learning process with them. At the same time, it collects student data to build algorithms, recommending learning activities, accompanying them to explore the broader world of STEM.
Okay, this is a very short video and actually we can see the development of three phases of Swedish curriculum. Maybe we start with the first phase. We call it, that's three numbers. The first number is 4. Okay, actually we can see the Swedish curriculum is not different from Swedish activities. Actually is refer to the theory of industrial revolution to develop the course and in the class category and the activities into 4 levels and develop students step by step. I can see in the level 1 actually is we call the human wisdom before industrial revolution. Human have many creativity before industrial revolution. Actually, students should learn the wisdom, okay, of human beings and before industrial revolution. And level 2 actually echo to the first and the second industrial revolution and the steam engine and the electricity. And in the third level, we call it computer control, and the creation will be more creative and more smart. It can react to the environment. And in the on the fourth level, you can see it's the very hot topic now. It's called AI. Okay, AI enhanced design. Actually, all these are actually the framework for us to organize all the learning activities. And when we refer to the history, there's at least two benefits. First, the activity can start with the easy level to the more difficult level. Students can learn creativity and other skills step by step. At the same time, the history have their natural connection. And so in our activity, we can see the connection among different levels because they are there, exist in the history. And you can see we realize the integration step by step. Actually, I can see the level 1, we have one module. In every module, we have 5 activities, and each activity will just last 1 or to 1.5 hours. And level 2 is a little bit long, 3 modules, and the level 3 is 3 modules, and level 4 is 1 module. There will be a total of 40 key activities. And if we just use 1 hour for one activity, 40 hours, we help students to experience, to know human wisdom in our history of industry. We just ask students to know, to realize our wisdom. Okay, not just focus on technology, because we have millions of technology. One technology can be one activity. If we want to exhaust it, all this activity is impossible. So we need to make use of vision or history to reorganize, to find the most important thing. We should teach students in those activity. Yeah, and okay, since there's a framework, we can be more flexible. Maybe may not be forced to be 4 levels and be 8 level, but we should end to cover the major human wisdom in 4 stages of human history. And here you can see that there's a title of topic. It's very interesting, just like tools, okay? But we use teaching methods, adopt new teaching methods to make the game more interesting and more inspiring. Now, because we call it a curriculum, we have something to maintain the structure, maintain the relationship among different units. We call the CPI framework. Actually, there are many learning objectives can be achieved in one activities. And actually, teacher felt very difficult to identify the real goal of a STEM activity. But you can see core content in one activity means this is a very important key knowledge or skill students should be learned from the design activities. And in order to accomplish the learning process of Unit 4.3, students should have some prerequisite knowledge and skill that have been learned in previous units, 3.3 to 2.2. So this is a connection. We can see through C and P, we can see the connection between among the different units. We call it as a spiral structure of the curriculum. Of course, it's not so strict as a discipline subject, but we still can see a spiral process. Okay, for the integrated content, and it's very important for children to maximize the cross-discipline integration. So our students experience the hands-on activities and design activities, we also expect students to learn some more broad content skills by themselves. Okay, on the basis of the design activities, we call integrated content, and it's very self-directed. Okay, you can see through use the CPI framework, we can ensure there's some connection among the different teams. There's a hierarchical relationship. And the core content is very important. And because if that we can fix the core content, we can find the points we need students to strengthen after they're doing something or design something. This is important. They can bring this knowledge and skill back home and bring them back in the next activity. This we call is the spiral and the continuous learning process. Okay, this is some reflection of STEM curriculum. Okay, first, fostering student creativity should be a gradual process. It should be in a spiral manners. Okay, should maintain continuance. So we can see gradually spiral continuance. We can see we should ensure the connection amongst the activities. They cannot be randomly implemented. Otherwise, the effectiveness of the STEM learning will be significantly influenced or compromised. Okay, the second way we may introduce was the sweetie and the pedagogy. Actually, here we can see is 7 steps pedagogy. And here we can see situation wondering. normally we think STEM is equal to hands-on activity. Actually, before students start their hands-on activity, students need to think something. Why need to create? Why need to build the model? If the students cannot have such an experience, they will not find a problem in their life. And eventually, they will not be creative in the future because identify problem is the prerequisite for be creative. Okay, if in our activity, the wondering the situation process is totally ignored, now we really cannot expect students to to be creative. And visioning actually is a planning, okay? And if we expect students can design something real by themselves, we need to emphasize such kind of process in that design-based learning. In vision is made very special in the design-based learning because when you vision plan something in engineering, students need to join that and use a picture and something like that. And the exploration is how we call students to experience fears in the hands-on activities. And thinking back is very important, and because in this process, teacher will bring students to reflect on the key knowledge and skill in the activity, and is an innovation is very crucial, and then it's an extension. Okay, because time is very limited, I just get through the 7 steps very quickly, and actually I will need maybe 2 hours to explore how can be implemented and what's the meaning of the name of the 7 steps. Here you can see I also use the accurately, just like STEM, I use the study data to integrate into a key as a word to help a teacher to memorize our teaching approach. And the last one is the number is 6. Here you can see in the parts of our switch curriculum is very special. There are many holes and gaps, something like that. Why we need it? Because we want it to be 6-dimensional expandable. This is very crucial for us to develop student creativity. If our hardware can strengthen students to solve problem, use 1 or 2 methods, now students' brain will be constrained. So when I think about the design the switch curriculum, I actually search the teaching kits in the market that can find such a kind of kits can meet my expectation. It can be multi-dimensional expandable. So I asked my friends in car company because they do the car models, very experienced to build the models and to design a set of teaching kits hardware to meet my vision of the education for creativity. And actually we can show, I did a short video show you. Here you can see in the blue parts, the different parts can connect to different things. Here you can these are poles, and here you can see this is the niche here, and here is many holes. Simply speaking, it can 6-dimensional expandable. And the students, when students use this kind of teaching kits, students know they have different ways to solve one problem. If one problem, the customers can many different ways because there are many possibilities. And I think this is very crucial to help students develop the mindset. Okay, the one problem in the world, there are many ways to solve it. We need to search and find the most appropriate in the specific situation. Okay, this is very important. So there's 3 members, 4 stages, 7 steps, and 6 dimensions. Okay, this is a feature of the first phase of STEM activity curriculum. Okay, so when we reflect on the teaching methods and material, there's some key information. So STEM learning is beyond hands-on activities.
One
Okay.
minute, Peter.
1 minute. Okay, great. So sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, I shall show another video and show how it is implemented in the classroom. Okay, I just use video to let me know more about. Here is how it's implemented in classroom. Now I copy and transfer the learning material into the website, and the teacher can easily implement it because I have translate all my series and the recent experience onto platform. I own the platform, so teacher can find me out to help them to teach every time, everywhere. So students can self-regulate it. learn the learning process. Okay, this is enough. Okay, now this the final stage. Oh no. Oh, here is some reflections. And AI actually in learning management system has some limitations, and actually we are using AI to handle the challenges. Okay, to make the platform more effective, can cater for more students than the Western. And here is the platform. Actually, people may be curious, what is my our research? Actually, we have can done many researches to investigate the effectiveness, to train the teachers, and start student learning agency development. All these may be beyond the capacity of one short seminar today, but I just to have very quick review of what I have done with VT in Hong Kong. Thank you very much. And that's all for my presentation.
Thank you so much, dear Peter, for this really extensive presentation. We got a lot of ideas, a lot of insights. So I would like to call all our audience members to don't resist your inspiration and put everything into the Padlet. And let's have a very fruitful reflection session with Peter and Jan Lundell, our keynote speakers. I'm really glad for this session. Thank you so much for this fantastic contribution. I think we really got the impetus to move further with this enriching perspectives you opened to us, dear Peter and Jan. Thank you so much. So now it's my pleasure to open the first round of lightning talks. Lightning talks is a very special format. It's a very online style presentation format. So I won't take too much time for introduction. Don't take it as a sign of impoliteness or anything like that, but I want to preserve the most time as possible for our speakers. And now I would like to invite on the stage Paula Walsh from Ireland, who will share about Irish and European STEM learning situation, and also will introduce her fantastic new book, which is really for the next generation of STEAM intelligence and intellectuals. So, Paula, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christoph, and I hope you can see my presentation and hear me okay?
Yes, we can see your presentation and hear you.
Perfect, thank you. So this is the first of my presentations today, and the title of it is I Said STEAM, Not STEM. So my name is Paula Walsh, and I'm a PhD candidate researching STEAM in early childhood education here in Ireland. And I'm also an assistant lecturer in early childhood education at the South East Technological University. And I've published this book you can see here on STEAM in early childhood education called Full Steam Ahead. But I'll be talking a bit more about the book, particularly in my next talk in a little while. So what is STEAM? So part of my research, the first thing I sort of had to do was delineate, well, what is STEAM as opposed to STEM? Is it different? Is it the same? And sort of make very clear my stance on that at the start of my research. So as we're all aware, STEAM is science, technology, engineering, the arts and maths. But a lot of people have, and educators specifically that I speak to, have heard of STEM, but haven't actually heard of STEAM yet, and are surprised when they hear of STEAM. So I've come across some writing here in Ireland, particularly in relation to government policy on STEM education and STEAM education. And there have been some concerns voiced about the possibility that adopting the STEAM acronym instead of STEM might devalue the arts somehow, by just situating the arts in a supportive role. Everybody recognizes, especially with young children, that they're very creative. And I think there has been some concern from people in the arts domain and the arts areas that are you just putting arts into this just so that it can facilitate people to learn about STEM? But what I actually believe is that if we remove the A from STEAM, so if we call it STEM, or even some of the government documentation and policy here in Ireland uses the term STEM and the arts, but I believe that if we actually remove the A from STEAM, we remove the emphasis on the equally important role which I believe the arts has to play. So, for example, what I like to highlight to my to students and to people that I train on STEAM and early childhood education, I like to sort of highlight to them the importance of the arts in a practical way with some examples. And I think if you take the example of an engineer who is building a bridge, for example, or an architect who's designing a bridge, it's very easy to see the science and the technology and the engineering and the maths. So I like to show and highlight how there very much is creativity and the arts here. So for example, an engineer has to be able to make mathematical calculations, but they also have to engage in design thinking. They might have to create drawings of their proposed, designs, for example. So the arts are there. And then they might be using technology in the form of design software and having an understanding of science, for example, the location, the weather in that location where they're building the bridge so that they can build it to withstand, weather events and so forth. So the arts is there in the design. So an engineer does engage the arts, even if they might do it, without realizing it necessarily. But also to address that concern that people in the arts domain have about, the arts only being seen as a way to facilitate engagement in the STEM areas. Well, I would make the argument that actually no, even an artist draws on science, technology, engineering, and maths to be artistic and to create. So for example, I have a picture here on the slide of a sculptor. So, when the artist was creating that sculpture, yes, they've been very creative and artistic, but they also had to be able to understand mathematical calculations and the concept of scale, of dimension. They have to have a scientific understanding of biology and the human body to be able to create a sculpture that is realistic and in its resemblance of the human form. And there's also engineering concepts there in creating this big object. So if we think about STEM concepts in the arts, as a further argument for adopting STEAM as the main acronym for this area, and just coming back to early childhood education, particularly, if we think about children playing with Play-Doh or clay, if we give them the ingredients to make it from scratch themselves, well, as in the earlier presentation from Jan, he mentioned about cooking and the science there. So if they're making Play-Doh themselves, it's a scientific experiment. Okay, that's chemistry, and it's also maths. They're having to estimate the amounts of the different ingredients that they need. We could give them a visual recipe with images to follow
Paula.
to create the Play-Doh, and then you've got early coding skills. In maths, we have rhythm. If we're making musical instruments, there's engineering. If we're, using a microphone, there's technology. Even with dancers, there's rhythm and maths, an understanding of science, spatial awareness, and mathematical concepts as well. And in an industry, in a job like an interior designer, you've got space, dimensions, maths, and then understanding of how light impacts the environment. That's science. So I would argue that the arts is actually a pillar of STEAM. It's more than a facilitating role for the other STEM areas. It's actually of equal importance and perhaps somewhat, a linchpin of STEAM, because it both facilitates engagement in and is facilitated by the other four areas within STEAM. Thank you for listening.
Bravo, and keeping the time. That's really the art of giving a speech. Thanks a lot for giving a good example of what's a lightning talk is. Perfect. So I don't take time. Just please move on. Your next talk.
Oh, yeah. It's Myung for the next talk, Professor Hong. Yeah, because Paula will be after Carson as well.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I thought that it's combined. I'm very sorry. So now we have Myung Hong on stage, and she's a professor of Korea National University of Education. So she will talk about mapping STEAM education challenges and comparing also Korean situation and Finland. Yes. Welcome, Myung Hong.
Okay, so thank you for inviting me to share some Korean status and what we are facing some difficulties in future education direction. So today I want to discuss the urgent need for educational innovation in general. So why it is necessary, what challenges we face, and how we can design future-ready curricula that integrate technology, 21st century skills, and also lifelong learning. So this is my specific topic today. So exploring the direction for a pioneer curriculum design reflecting 21st century competence. So this was my short abstract that I shared already. So we are living in an era of rapid technological advancement. AI, big data, and digital transformation are reshaping industries and also education. However, traditional education models are struggling to keep up. So many systems still rely on knowledge transmission and rigid curriculum structures rather than preparing students for real-world challenges. So future curriculum must combine not only the knowledge base, but also 21st century skills with advanced technology while maintaining strong foundations in learning theories and also education philosophy. So without these changes, we risk leaving students unprepared for an unpredictable future. So I want to briefly introduce some necessity and challenges of implementing EdTech as well. So despite some clear need for change in education globally, there are several barriers in Korea and also, I think, in other countries. So for example, some limited use of student performance data in EdTech-based learning, and also, I believe, some STEAM education curriculum and programs. So lack of administrative and some technological support for implementing technology in curriculum and some programming, and limited teacher training opportunities, which is a quite big issue in Korea at the moment for digital education. And traditional education structures struggling to adapt to evolving societal needs here, and lack of customized education programs to support diverse learners. So these are some challenges that we are facing now. To build a future-ready education system, I would believe we must focus on key areas of education. And one of the most crucial is enhancing teachers' capabilities and through some edtech integration, things like cutting-edge technology. So this means training teachers and educators in general for AI-driven classrooms, redefining their roles and developing innovative teaching methods. However, this transformation cannot happen in isolation. This is what we figured out so far. So this is why we need some global collaboration among education institutions, policymakers, and researchers together. So for example, in KNUE, so we are actively engaging now in international network and partnerships to drive this movement forward and ensuring that students worldwide benefit from a more connected and lifelong learning ecosystem. So this is what I have gathered and what I have researched so far. So this is future curriculum directions for young children and also for primary and the secondary school students. Early childhood education could lay the strong foundation for lifelong learning. So here are the key areas of focus. As children undergo some significant cognitive, social, and emotional and physical growth, I believe this is also the foundation of STEAM. So they grow. This grows during their early years. This is what is happening. So we need to develop effectively, focusing on cognitive growth, social skills, and emotional regulation and physical development, and also creativity and expression. So these are actually the summary after we have actually explored the new approaches and recent approaches many countries are taking, so including Finland and New Zealand, Australia, and the UK, and also. So it seems important to combine the traditional subject distinction and areas with the 21st century capacities and skills abilities, setting the interdisciplinary goals. For example, language can be combined with literacy, and mathematics can be combined with problem-solving skills, and science with exploration, and creativity with arts. And most importantly, especially in Korean context, the future education required to put more emphasis on social and emotional development of students and physical development and well-being of every member of education circle. So, I'm going to just briefly move to the conclusion. So, in summary, I believe 21st century education must integrate AI, digital literacy, and also personalized learning while prioritizing holistic development that includes cognitive, emotional, and social skills. So a lifelong learning education ecosystem should support learners from early childhood through adulthood. So achieving meaningful education transformation will require ongoing research together and policy support and collaboration. Okay, so thank you for listening. This is my end.
Bravo, Professor Hong. I think your framework is so important and needs to be considered also in our broader comparative approaches. And we know that Korea made tremendous efforts to move to STEM and STEAM education in the last decades. So it's a very valuable presentation. Thank you so much. So now it's my pleasure to invite on stage Professor Kason Ka-Ching Chung from the Education University of Hong Kong.
So thank you very much for inviting me to give this lightning talk. And I'm Kason Chung, and let me share the screen. Yes, and then today I'm going, can you see my screen? Yes, can you see my screen? Start.
Yeah, it's I think coming up now.
Yeah.
Yes, we are here.
Okay.
So, perfect.
Yeah. So I'm from the Department of Curriculum Instruction, and I do a lot of different research incorporating AI in science education. So my field is about science education. So before that, right. Why does it? Sorry. Let me check. Yes, and then I think because there is a dilemma for application of generative AI in science education, for example, the students can use GPT-4o3 mini-high to obtain an answer to the physics question, while they do not have any opportunity to engage in different practices to generate answer to the physics questions. So this is the dilemma, whether they can just simply ask generative AI to give an answer to the question, or whether they can engage with the scientific practices to generate answers to the physics questions. So this is a disciplinary dilemma. And then there is still a lot of different debate of using generative AI in science education. And then also, generative AI seems to be communicating scientific knowledge as an absolute knowledge without any limitations. And then whether we can cultivate students to question about the status of scientific knowledge claim. So I tried myself to ask generative AI a question. Is there any way to treat Alzheimer's diseases? And then the POE, so I tried to use POE, and the POE answered that. And in conclusion, while there is no cure for the Alzheimer's disease, so it seems that POE seems to communicate science. But when I asked the follow-up question regarding is that really true, and then the POE then reply, and there is not well, the current stage of the knowledge indicates no cure exists, the possibility of advancement in research remains. So it seems that at first, POE doesn't really talk about the limitation of scientific knowledge. But when I queue the POE, and then it try to reply that the knowledge of scientific knowledge status will change. And then so that's a disciplinary dilemma of generative AI. So in my research, I focus on nature of science and reasoning about nature of generative AI inference science. And then you can see the picture that students draw about how science works. And then normally when students draw about how science works, so you can see the picture on the left, there are many trials, and then you can see some observations, and then they are holding a conical flask and observing the observations. But when students ask about how science works in the era of generative AI, so you can see on the left, they draw a lady there, and then on the left to second figure, and then they draw some books, conversational bubbles, and then the students think that I don't understand the scientific knowledge. And then on the third figure here, so you can see that the science tried to incorporate the AI, but we cannot see exactly how the student conceptualized the intersection between science and AI. And then on the right figure here, on the fourth figure, and then we cannot see any test tube observation analyzing data. And then we just see that the students just input something, and then they write something like check and send. So actually, it seems that the generative AI incorporating into science is not in a fusion way. And then other of my study, I try to keep screen about the conversation between ChatGPT and the user, and then ask them about what do they think about how generative AI generates scientific information. And then many students report that generative AI just search information from the internet, and then they think that it's not smart enough. And then most students think that generative AI cannot know everything, but they cannot point out why they cannot know everything. And then very few of them can really address very fundamental issue of nature of science, for example, peer review, personal quality of scientists, and then where is the source of information from. And then many students do not know what is large language model. So to solve this dilemma, so in my view, I think that because students are lacking of understanding of how science generates and revise validates claims, and then I think the teachers need to know how to orchestrate epistemic discourse, how to develop their understanding of nature of science, and then nature of generative AI inference science. And then now generative AI seems to consider content knowledge as the ultimate outcome of science. And then I think that the future research agenda can fine-tune existing or develop generative AI application that focus on cultivating students how to generate, validate, or revising scientific knowledge by using these generative AI applications, and then to ask them to reflect more about the epistemology behind it. And that's all for my presentation, and then thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carson.
Bravo.
Really on time.
Bravo. Thank you so much. Very important insights, and welcome your contribution to our SIG group. I hope to see you soon in Hong Kong in person again. So our next speaker is again Paula. I was wrong that I thought first that she will combine her talks, but now there's another talk coming up on the book, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm going to talk.
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
Floor is yours. Full steam ahead.
Okay, so yeah, hi again, everybody. So my second talk now this morning is about my book, Full Steam Ahead. Excuse me. I won't introduce myself again. So what is this book about? So it's called Full Steam Ahead, Science, Technology, Engineering, the Arts and Maths in Early Childhood Education. And it's really a very practical book about how to incorporate STEAM in early childhood education, suitable for use by educators themselves, managers, lecturers, parents, anybody who's interested in STEAM for children 0 to 6 years old. So I'm very passionate about, as an academic myself and a former educator, to be able to, a former early childhood educator, should I say, but I'm very passionate to be able to connect my work and connect the theory to practice to make it, so anything that I produce, I really want educators to be able to take something usable from it that they can implement today in their practice, so to make it accessible for them, just to ensure that the research actually reaches the early childhood classroom and ends up benefiting the children. So it's also very important that, you know, for educator professional development, we need to support their confidence and knowledge to be able to bring STEAM into their early childhood classroom. So I wrote this book as a practical guide to support them to be able to do that. So I wrote the book in 2 parts, and part 1 looks at the why of STEAM. Why do we need to bring it into the early childhood classroom? It looks back over, Peter, when you were making your presentation earlier on about the history of things, and I look back very much at the history and major sort of developments across the different STEM areas that everybody would be familiar with. So just to highlight where, you know, there have been developments and important innovations across these areas for educators to recognise. It also talks in part 1 of the book about how STEAM supports children to foster 21st century skills. I link theories of learning that early childhood educators would be familiar with a rationale for STEAM. And also linking STEAM in early childhood to education for sustainable development and sustainable development goals. And then in the part 2 of the book is the real practical part. So I have a chapter for each of the domains of STEAM. So a chapter on science, chapter on technology. But I'm very, I've tried very hard also to ensure that educators can see the connections in each chapter to other STEM areas, because after all, STEAM is a transdisciplinary approach. And I've put lots of activity ideas using affordable and accessible materials and STEAM with loose parts or recyclable materials, showing educators how to bring technology into their environment using unplugged resources, for example, because there is, in my own experience with educators, that technology domain is something that they sort of are a bit fearful and hesitant of. They're a bit fearful about bringing screens and screen time, any more of it into children's lives. But again, thinking back to what Peter was talking about earlier on, I sort of try to remind educators as well that the word technology didn't just come into being when the internet was, you know, was developed. That technologies are tools that have been around in human history for millennia. And I also highlight the importance of how we can bring, as educators, STEAM words and STEAM vocabulary into our interactions with children, also to support their understanding, their interest, and their curiosity in the various STEAM areas. So just a little example that I thought I'd put up from the book. So on the left-hand side here is from the engineering chapter, where I describe an activity for designing and building a bug hotel, and the different steps they need and what children can get out of that and how it supports them and the interest. And then on the right-hand side in the little orange column, I have I show where the links to the other STEAM areas are. So learning about pollination and the life cycle, sustainability, technology using binoculars or magnifying glasses and so forth. And then the picture on the right-hand side is from the technology chapter. So showing how a digital weighing scales as a form of non-screen time technology that's still digital can be brought in, and also could be brought in alongside a more traditional non-digital weighing scales for children to explore the 2 different types of technology, a digital and an unplugged version. And then I have the links then to the other STEM areas of engineering and maths that engaging with those resources would highlight for children in activities as well, like quantifying and planning materials for engineering, or maths with weight and mass and number and so forth.
1 minute.
Thank you. And then the very end of every chapter in part 2, I put in information around STEAM language for that domain that educators can bring into their interactions with children. So again, this is from the end of the engineering chapter, and I have some examples of language and terminology that we can bring into our practice and our discussions with children. So for example, for engineering, problem, construct, prototype, plan, develop, and things like that. And I have a set of words like that and STEAM language at the end of every chapter to get educators started and to inspire them a little bit around bringing STEAM in a very, and to bring STEAM into our practice with children using language is completely free. It doesn't have to be expensive to bring STEAM into our practice. So that's a little insight into my book called Full Steam Ahead, and it's available from Baru Press. I have the link there, and I'd love if anybody wanted to reach out to me. I have my email and my Instagram, my LinkedIn there as well. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Paula. I really recommend to get this amazing book, order it for your library, yourself, your bookshelf. It's a really fantastic book, not only for educational institution, but just for yourself to tinker at home. Amazing things in this book. Thank you so much, Paula. So now we are moving on from navigating the STEAM education continuum to another theme group, critical thoughts for the sustainable future for STEAM education, societal, technological, environmental perspectives. And our first speaker is being Nina Wen. Hello, Nina. Welcome. Nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you and we can see your slide. Perfect.
Yeah, that's good. Hi, hello everyone. I'm Bing Wen from China, Xi'an Liverpool University Academy of Future Education and the University of Liverpool Computer Science Department. So this is a part of my PhD study. And before I divide into the research, I just wanted to share my personal experience. I'm a first-year PhD student, and my supervisor is a woman with 3-year-old girl. So when I started my PhD study, she started to be a mom. So I witnessed her transition from a woman to a mom. So this journal gave me a deep understanding of challenge she faced in the balance between work and life. Although I'm not mom, but I understand how hard her feel. So I just remember during my first year, I would often receive like a mail from her at 2 o'clock in the morning. So this kind of experience made me realize that the role of mom and the find balance is quite difficult. So that is about my research. For this research, the focus problem is to what extent have those female faculty in computer science and engineering their motherhood experience impacts their career and their understanding of educator identity. It exists intersection space between the family setting and the working setting. So I want to use this way to figure out how they find a good balance between work and life. And for my study, I collected data from 10 women, both from China and Italy, because in both Chinese and Italy society, traditional mother's role are deeply with they expect to take the primary responsibility about the caregiving. So this culture expectation often results in women neither not enter the STEAM or leave after they be a mom. So this study used position theory to analyze how the social culture factor influence female faculty's career decision. By identity, their first-order positioning, second-order positioning, and reflective positioning to say how their motherhood identity influence their work. And the result is is quite interesting, as it's very easy to understand that motherhood requires significant time and effort, so lead female faculty to adjust their position role. For example, although they play with the family, they are in the family, they play with the kid, but they think about how I can answer my student question. If they just get a mail from their student, they although they play with the kids, but they think about, okay, the next word I will use, and then I will send the answer to them. So even when female faculty work at home, they have to juggle work and family responsibility, and they also think they need to be a good mom. Although they feel really tired, they still wanted to be a good mom. And another one is it's not just a challenge, but they also get some benefits. The motherhood can enhance teaching practice. They can have benefit when they be a mom. After they be a mom, they get some characteristic of motherhood into their educator role, like they be more patient, or they know how to find a good relationship with the students. They know what kind of way they can be a good communication with the student, and they wanted to they also be a good time manager. They know how to make work finish effectively. So it's not just a challenge for them to be a mom. They also get the benefit. And conclusion is that we find that like the women study is not just a homogeneous group. So when we talk about the women study, it's not just like all women have the same experience. Like Chinese mom, Italian mom, it's totally different with like American mom. So when we realize that the culture factors will influence how people think about the motherhood, we need to do more research about it. So my research points that the women experience in STEAM are heavily influenced by the social and cultural factors. And most of the study focus on like the engineering and computer science is masculine field, but we didn't put more attention on like in Chinese and Italian is masculine society. So in place, we like okay. And another part is academic mom is quite a special group, and it's definitely need more support, so more research need to focus on that. And even though like women in STEAM have been studied for many years, when I do this study, I often get a lot of challenge. They will say, okay, you say like the society culture influence motherhood, but we cannot change. But I have to say, I think realize awareness is the first step. We need to know that the culture influence us, and next step we need to do more. So I'm really interested in to have the comparative study of the STEAM women in different culture. So it's very interesting. I wanted to check more later. So thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Nina, for bringing these super critical points into the table, and welcome soon to Finland. Maybe also to compare these situations, and definitely we can read very rough statistics about that. How many women, how many female disappear in this so-called STEAM pipeline, STEM pipeline, that we see the fantastic outperforming results of very talented female STEM learners, but we cannot see these learners starting their career in STEM and STEAM fields. So this is absolutely a central topic and concern for us. Thanks a lot for sharing it. Now we have our next light bolt coming in, who is actually Dr. David Kit Eng from the Education University of Hong Kong. He's a specialist of AI literacy and STEM and STEAM connections. So I'm really happy to see you here, Davy. Thanks a lot for joining, and the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Christoph, and my dear friends in Finland and at UHK to invite me for this talk. So today's topic is from AI literacy to generative AI literacy, from theory to
Let me
practice.
mention that, sorry to interrupt you, that your presentation is still loading. I don't know what's the reason for that, but we don't see your slide
It is
yet.
okay now.
At least not for our screen. We have seen it for a moment before you started maybe to full screen, but something happened meanwhile.
So can you all see my screen properly?
No, we just see that loading and the black.
Loading. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe you can start sharing again. Yeah.
Okay. Then we have a.
Yeah. Now it's perfect. This is
okay.
good. Yeah.
So let's keep this mode.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Christoph. Okay, so in 2021, at that time I conducted a review of AI teaching and learning from 2020, and that time we noticed that teachers teach AI from the computer science perspective in computer lessons. So at that time, most people will look at AI from AI education point of view, and then years later, that is in 2021. So at that time, do another research, do another review, to look at digital literacy and AI, and we find that people start to talk about AI literacy. They start to consider AI as a essential digital literacy. And we later found that many countries and regions, they start to teach AI, even in K-12 levels. So we do another review. So here is the collection of my recent studies. So in 2023, people, because in November in 2022, at that time we have ChatGPT, and since then the term AI literacy become popular again. And we found that not only people, not only students and teachers, they do need AI competency to get ready, to have professional knowledge, and to empower pedagogies in the classroom. And we also would like to measure students' AI literacy development, but cognitive literacy, cognitive development is not the main just the focus. We should extend to other perspectives like affective, behavioral, ethics point. So ethics perspective, and so the AI literacy should have the ABCE approach. So this is only my interpretation. I know there are many wonderful, many inspiring models elsewhere, and actually the whole world is doing on this topic. And recently in 2024 and even now, you can see that the term Gen AI literacy comes up. So we quickly write another book that is we call it From AI to Gen AI Literacy, Theory, Policy, and Practice. And that's why the topic for today's talk is this. Okay, so the books is over here. So if you want to buy one, you can feel free to scan the QR code. So the reason why I do this topic is that during the COVID, we are aware that people will try to use automated technology because they try to reduce face-to-face interaction. So even in education, some chatbots or some at that time so-called AI-empowered platforms, intelligent tutoring system, something like that, to facilitate teachers to consume their teacher. The teaching at home, so and also from the STEM lessons, So they try to teach robotics and computer vision sensors, something like that. And this is maybe the very first view of AI literacy, AI education. And later in the when we look at this term from the concept of digital literacy, we can see that students need to have some basic knowledge of technical aspects, just like machine learning and NLP. Yeah, and also they should have awareness of social and ethical implication of AI application. Okay, and we found that Gen AI is a little bit different. Yeah, it seems that it focuses more on critical thinking, especially when people, students try to search, try to ask GPT questions. So the recommendations are all Gen AI driven, generated. So we most often we need to check if it is correct, if it is reliable or it is useful for your own context. So the competency, the ability, we have a little bit difference in the focus. So in Gen AI, we can focus on the multimodal content and critical thinking, ethical consideration, fact checking these days. So and that's why in today's discussion we can talk about this. And we look at AI literacy using the 21st century skills. And we noticed that in early years, digital literacy covers AI literacy. But then years later, nowadays you can see that even in the 4C, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking, and also AI can be conceptualized in different themes. Let's say language, science, and also it should be one of the lifelong learning skills that even older adults, they need to use AI to facilitate their everyday life. So you can see that digital literacy is not only digital skills, and it should be expanded to other perspectives and other dimensions. And this is okay. So it's an old model that we built years ago, and in the whole world, people are trying to adapting this model, and there are more good model coming up. Let's say the UNESCO, and then Stanford, from Hong Kong, many people trying to build their own version of AI literacy frameworks. Maybe I share some of my latest finding that traditional AI was Gen AI, okay? And the data source, there are different dimensions to look at the difference. First of all, the data source. So you can see that Gen AI can handle more unstructured data, and it can generate more human-like responses. And it seems to be more conversational exchange and more interactive, can understand context. And also can generate 3D model, generate codes, PowerPoints presentation, can solve more complex problems. And also we have technical requirement. The technical requirement will have different from the old days, from the traditional AI, that people need to have prompt engineering skill, critical thinking skills. Okay, and that's why based on the functional affordances driven by Gen AI, okay, so we can set the Gen AI literacy in this way. So people need to program or set the Gen AI bots. Let's say with personas, with knowledge base. So we have new ways to handle the data, and response can be fake. That critical thinking is needed to recognize. Okay, and also you can see that collaboration is more important. The collaboration is not limited to AI and student, but it can be AI student and also classmates. And also we have the important thing about context, how it can be used across different domains. Okay, so here comes the 6 dimensions of the new version of Gen AI literacy. And another recent finding is that that is the metacognition ways that students can use Gen AI to enhance their self-regulated learning. So it can help. We found that students who use Gen AI well tends to have a higher score in academic performance in science subject. And also self-regulated learning. And this is one of the empirical finding.
Thank you,
And
JP. I think yeah, we can share your
okay, maybe I
slides
need to
information later.
okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Yeah. Next time I will give
Thank you a lot. It's very impressive research output, and this is an expanding topic, and we are looking forward to learn more from your publications and the collaboration with you, Professor Eng. It's very impressive contribution. And now it's my pleasure to ask my colleague and friend Orsoya Tuba, who works on a very important topic as well, sustainability and action competence, to share her contribution today. Welcome, Orshi.
Thank you. You have to. Sorry about that. Now we don't echo. Thank you very much, Christoph.
Perfect.
To Josephine, as you
yes, we see
some
your
of you know.
screen.
So yes, I'm here to talk about today on the topic of my PhD research, which is developing action competence for planetary well-being in education for planetary well-being. And today, due to this special occasion on the STEAM and Sustainability Conference organized by GRIFE, I will be combining my research interest with the STEAM education and see how the STEAM education can contribute to planetary well-being. Yes, and as Christoph said, we are colleagues and working together in the innovative learning environments. I just wanted to enlighten you that this is our office. This is where we are sitting right now with Joe. So here is some information on the weather forecast from Jyväskylä and the University of Jyväskylä. This is the building of the Faculty of Education and Psychology. Welcome to visit us. So here is my introduction, and I decided to keep this image here because it was just so hilarious that nowadays the PowerPoint is also AI generated and it recommends images for your presentation. And my full name is Orsoya Tuba. Everyone calls me Orshi, and tuba means this musical instrument, as you can see. So you can see my face, this is me, but this is how you can remember me and my publications in the future. So you're welcome. And regarding publications, we are working together with Jemmy and Vaichi and Christoph and Josephine on an article called Planetary Commitments and Reflections on Higher Education Sustainability Policies in Teacher Education in Finland and Hong Kong. And I would be very excited to present about it in the conference organized in Hong Kong in June. So hopefully that's an opportunity where I can meet many of you in person. And as I said, my research interests are currently around this action competence in planetary well-being. But I should speed up because this is a short one. So like why I'm talking about this is because there is climate change and many complex challenges, including social, economical, cultural, and therefore we have all these policies, for example, the Sustainable Development Goals that really want us to begin action. And so my main motivation has always been around that as well, that the education really has a transformative power to drive meaningful change. So I figured that this action competence is really something to look into because it really is something that already utilizes the existing knowledge and attitudes and all the sort of learned and acquired know-how into the agency and action towards driving change. And so it's also used to really find solutions to interdisciplinary challenges. And that is where I think the connection with the STEAM education comes in very well. So here is a little bit overview on this concept called planetary well-being, which might be somewhat new to some of you, but this is something that our university has been using quite a lot lately, and it's a preferred term over sustainable development because of many reasons. I think one of them is that this is focusing on not only the human well-being, but the non-human. And so it focuses on all organisms, and it's meant to really drive change and transformative change, also environmental stewardship. So it's really something that fits quite well with the ideas of action competence and transformative pedagogy. And I think that how all these tie in very well is that STEAM education is really known for unlocking the potential of critical thinking, interdisciplinary learning, creativity and innovation. And so when someone has all these competencies, but let's say they also have all the knowledge on how, recycling is important and how inclusion is very important, that I don't exclude or participate in my communities, and all this knowledge exists in our head, but what makes us act upon it as an individual and what makes us act collectively is a very, very important part. And I think it's a very interesting area to research and gather more also qualitative data on it, on the why people act and why some people remain passive and just keep complaining or suffering in some ways about the challenges or, the challenges of our world. So my conclusion is that I think STEAM has a great potential in fostering action competence, problem solving, and critical thinking. And it also has great opportunities to also generate collective action competence. And I think action competence then has really a potential to educate future generations to foster planetary well-being.
1 minute.
I think I'm done. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, we can use 1 minute now.
Thank you so much, Orsi, for bringing the planetary perspective, which is really goes beyond the human perspective too. It was really important extension of our conversation here. And please use the Padlet to prepare for the closing conversation. So now we are arriving to have even more highlights of the day. So we will open this kaleidoscope even more colorful than ever. And we have more emphasis on collaboration. And here we have the real hero of the day, Andreas Daniel Matt, who is the representative of International Mathematics Day, initiated by UNESCO. And we really appreciate to have you here, Andreas Daniel, because this is your big day. You are today the worst enemy of all the Pied Pipers of bad mathematics education. You are the hero of the good mathematics, the friendly mathematics, the joyful mathematics, the smiling mathematics. And you are very busy today to celebrate Pi Day all over the globe. How many countries involved this year?
It's so difficult to count countries, but it's
how many events?
120 countries. So
oh my God! Oh my God! So this is the dimension you are dealing today. So we really appreciate your 6 minutes with us. So please share more about this fantastic effort you are doing today.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's really a busy day today, but it's a happy day, and the real heroes are all the young mathematicians, like all the humans around the planet who are celebrating this day together. So there are millions of people in schools, in exhibitions, at home, and they're doing events. And I'll show you a few things. We are in charge of running the framework behind this project, and we are Imaginary. It's a non-profit organization, and I'll show you a little bit who we are, and then I informally take you back to this backstage behind the International Day of Mathematics. So, here, just a few words on who we are. So we are a non-profit that started at a research institute in Oberwolfach, a German mathematical research institute, in 2007. And since then, we have been doing a lot of openly licensed content to communicate modern mathematics in all different types of formats. We use a lot of software-based and very interactive and participative formats. And since everything is openly licensed, from the very beginning, a lot of people started to recreate or use, copy, adapt our content and stage their own whatever exhibitions, workshops, formats using our content, and that's super nice. And we also established a kind of platform for open mathematics communication. So it's not only our content, but also whoever has an openly licensed image, software, 3D prints, whatever, they can also upload it on our platform and share it. Nowadays you have a lot of platforms, but it's still a platform where you can easily have an open source exhibition, for example. The International Day of Mathematics today, I think it's the 5th or 6th edition. It started in 2020, so it's the 5th edition. And it was officially approved by UNESCO in 2019 to be an official UNESCO International Day, organized by the International Mathematical Union. There's a long process to establish such days, so it was not easy, but it's super nice that mathematics has that day. And the date was chosen to be 14th of March because of the number pi, 314, and it continues. So there's probably 1 millisecond on that day, which is exactly the 3.14 whatever. And it's interesting because it's one day, but one day has a lot of hours. So it's not just the 24 hours here, but it started yesterday in Tuvalu with the first celebration, and will end tomorrow in Hawaii or somewhere in the very west of the time zones. So the rest of my talk, I will just show you one. I'll get out here and show you the website. Show you one format that we invented for us for this International Day. So there are many different things. You have activities for schools. We also prepare posters that people can download. We have a logo in, I don't know, 38 languages that people can use. But the thing that works best is the so-called creative challenge. And it's something that we do every year from the very first year. The idea was to create something where everybody can join or connect in a way. And the idea was to connect via a joint action. So since we are all on the same day, so everybody should do the same. And it should not be a competition. That's why we call it a challenge, a little bit following this kind of viral challenges like the ice bucket challenge, whatever. So the idea was to call a challenge every year. And we started with, at the very beginning, it was a video challenge. So the idea was, can you send us a 20 seconds video? What is mathematics for you? And then we got a lot of videos and made one nice video. I will not show it because it's too long. 20 minutes, or here it's like 8 minutes of the best 10 seconds clips all around the world. And so each year we changed the format a little bit. In the second year, we said, okay, let's make a poster. So we always invent this kind of call. So let's make a poster and to show where can you use mathematics to make the world a better world. And what we do, we create one page, which is like the Creative Challenge call page, where we describe what we would like. Usually we invent 2 or 3 examples. So here we have like a COVID testing system, for example, or here an example of a poster, like a recipe poster. And then we let the world participate and create their own posters. And the interesting thing is that a lot of people participate, and the results are incredibly amazing. So, and that's something that like you always underestimate the creative power of the people in the world, and we get thousands of submissions each year, which are just amazing. So here you can see some of the examples of posters. There are individuals participating, schools participating, expert mathematicians participating, whoever wants can participate. And now, over the last 5 years, we were like kind of experimenting a bit with this format of challenge. So what makes a good challenge? So we did one challenge, for example, here, a comic challenge. So can you create a cartoon or a comic on mathematics? And it's challenging to create a challenge because we cannot use language because there are so many languages. So that's already challenging. Usually we try to also translate the challenge text. Sorry?
1 minute left. Thank you.
1 minute left. Thank you. But the trick is to, and I'll show you the current challenge. So this was the theme of this year is mathematics and art. So the idea was to use daily objects or yourself. That's always important, that there's something of you or your locality in the image, and create a kind of a sculpture, a mathematical sculpture. And these are all the pictures that were just launched today. So it's a huge gallery, almost 3,000 pictures, where here you can see we have a world map where you can see who participated. So you can zoom in and see all the places and schools of people who participated and send us pictures, and can look at their submissions. And I think this kind of really creates a community, and you would be happy to be on that map. You would look at all the others. And we have a lot of tools internally. We are a small team, so it's really challenging to review 3,000 submissions, automatically, semi-automatically put them online, communicate with the people, and start this gallery. But we are really happy and hope to continue with this format. We will never be able to do videos again because it's too much time to review videos. So we would probably stick to a kind of picture format, but that's also open, and we have to see.
Thank you, Andreas. Yeah, I have shared the International Day of Mathematics information with our audience already. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Big respect to you and your team for taking this super important effort, so central for the whole STEM and STEAM community, and these ideas. And we wish you to have a very creative continuation of the day, roaming around all over the globe and collect these berries, these fruits of this creative, fruitful day of mathematics. And let make every day of the Creative Mathematics Day, right? So thanks a lot again, Andreas, and greetings to your team. And when it comes to creativity, my personal creative coach, and also even beyond, like a creative bodhisattva of education in the whole globe, is coming on stage. Leonard Sommer, my great friend and colleague from Germany, who actually wrote this important book together with more than 100 creative teachers all over the globe. It's called the Creative School Think Tank. That was the origo, the beginning of our beautiful friendship. And now Leonard is taking even higher stakes, organizing a bigger festival and conference than I ever seen. So please, Leonard, share about your book and about your efforts and this amazing festival and conference which is coming to Stuttgart, right?
Yes. Do you hear me? And
yes.
Okay. Thanks also to the inspiration of Andreas. I'm totally smashed what you're doing. So it's incredible. We need to talk to eventually discuss or to bring that in the festival 26. It's fantastic. My compliments. So let me just try if we can share the screen here. Do you see my screen?
Yes, it's
okay.
It's
Wonderful.
Yes.
So
Classroom Think Tank. Here you go.
Okay, wonderful. So thanks so much for having me, Christoph. I'm extremely excited to share two projects actually with all of you. So what are we doing with Classroom Think Tank? So our initiative is committed to primarily promote creativity as a topic of school learning. And primary goal is really to make ideas and methods of great thinkers more visible. For example, like yours, Christoph, or
Leonard, sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if you see the same, but there is a little window. You should accept some kind of permission.
Okay.
On your computer. Yes.
Now better.
Now it's perfect. Here you go.
Okay. No. Okay, so through innovative principles and methods that we learn from others, actually, we want to nurture a learning culture that imparts knowledge, but also develops the creativity of students and prepares them for the challenges of the future, really. And let me just go deeper in three projects, actually. And the one you shared that, thanks also that you've been part of this, actually. It's our book, Classroom Think Tank, How to Foster Creativity in 21st Century Education. It brings together the ideas of not only teachers, but also 100 creators from all over the world that are working in creativity industries or even in schools, or who are painters, whatever. So we asked them what would they change if they want to have a school that promotes creativity instead of conformity. And this brings out actually this book. Co-authors are well-known experts like you, Christoph, or Pamela Bernard from University of Cambridge, or Patrick Newell from the Shizenkan University in Japan. And actually one book I just checked that had been shipped to the Hang Seng University of Hong Kong. So if actually you want to try the book, it must be somewhere there. Actually, I shipped it personally
You will
there.
be surprised, but I will go there on the 1st of April. So I
Okay.
will track it.
Try
Who
to
gives the
find
books
it,
there?
please.
Yeah.
Let me know if it's still there. And yeah, let me just dive deeper into one exciting project that we just started last year. It's called My Machine. It's the first practical learning method that had been started since last year. And it's an intergenerational project-based learning approach that brings children's wildest ideas to life. Thanks to Pete Guémon-Preuve, actually, who invented the method. And let's be honest, a lot of schools, at least in Germany, still focus on memorizing facts instead of creating ideas. So creativity is often an afterthought, collaboration limited. Turning ideas into reality, almost never part of the curriculum. But there's the catch, actually. Once students graduate and start a job, today they're expected to think creatively, collaborate across generations, and bring ideas to life. Sounds a little bit like a disconnect, right? So My Machine changed that by making creativity, teamwork, and real problem solving essential parts of learning. And with this award-winning learning method, we foster creativity and entrepreneurial spirit in Germany now. So recognize it's actually one of the 100 most innovative learning methods by 100. And it's a project-based learning approach that brings children's wildest ideas to life. And luckily, it's already making waves in 13 countries. So great what Pete actually did here. And now we started it in Germany. And let me really just share a movie with you.
Time. Unexpected events on a local or global scale disrupt our lives. The Industrial Revolution is giving us opportunities, yet is also attacking jobs. And an even much bigger one is hitting our shores, climate change. Navigating through this ever-changing environment is challenging. More than ever before, we will have to rely on new ideas, new concepts, new answers. And these come from people who are confident to use their imagination, to think outside of silos, and to be inspired by the possibility to improve our society. This is not the privilege of a handful of intelligent, brave, and lucky women or men. All of us can do this, as long as we have had the possibility to learn this in a supporting ecosystem. This is where My Machine brings an impactful solution. Our unique and multi-award-winning methodology unites all educational levels in 3 steps. Step 1, children in primary schools invent their dream. Anything goes, as long as they really let. Then, university students help them design a concept. And in step 3, technical or vocational secondary school students help build an actual working prototype. Primary school children inspire the older students with their creative powers and creative confidence that they still have within them. University students show that solutions come from looking for the right angle to a challenge. And the technical secondary students display their skills by improving the technical side of the design, ensuring the production of the working prototype is safe, smooth, effective, and within budget. While they work for months on bringing ideas to life, like the Clean Up My Room machine or the homework making machine, they use mathematics and physics and all the other knowledge they need for this inspiring endeavor. And all students learn along the way that nothing comes easy. That bringing an idea to life means you will need to rely on teamwork, empathy, respect for each other's talents, and being persistent and resilient. While co-creating these dream machines is so much hard work, it is also so much fun. Can you imagine how much joy they find in creating a party dance machine, a massage machine, a chase away the bad ghost from under my bed machine, or a turning bunk bed, better known as the never have to discuss anymore who gets to sleep on top machine? We know that taking those dream machine ideas seriously means the world to all participating children. Wherever life takes them, dance, engineering, plumbing, IT, fashion, law, filmmaking, management, community building, or space technology, one of the most instrumental skills to bring you happiness and to make you thrive is learning that you can bring any idea to life. No matter the scope of your vision, whether it's something personal, local, or global, Making it happen starts with the creative confidence that your ideas matter, that your ideas can make a difference. That is how we will see a lot more of us doing a lot more to shape this better future we all need to design together.
That was an interesting sound, actually. So at this stage, I would like to thank the University of Stuttgart, actually, the Galileo Bildungshaus and the Max-Eid-Schule for the hard work. They actually decided in August last year to be part of it. And in September, they had everything ready to start the project with 300 learners. And special thanks goes to Nana Mudafidou. She's the first classroom think tank coordinator in Germany that had been actually brought in from the university. And as you have seen in the short film, it is essential to always have really the honor, the creativity, and the work of the learners with a grand show at the end. And that's actually where the dream machines are presented on stage. And this is what we're doing actually at the Futuro Edu Festival. It's the first international festival of learning. It's from 3rd to 4th of July, and it's curated by the Initiative Classroom Think Tank. There will be actually 75 speakers in the Edu conference from all over the world, actually. And happy, actually, that you were there as well, Christoph, and Pamela is there, that you might know, and Patrick, that I just mentioned. Plus also a lot of inspiring teachers and headmasters that share their practical methods. So it's really worth it to come there. And the outstanding thing is actually, it's not just one conference, it's 4 conferences. So whenever you have the ticket, actually, you can be part of a innovation conference, a foresight conference, and a startup conference. And the biggest thing is you can enter with a combi ticket also to the music festival. And at this music festival, actually, we represent the machines and luckily also the Waka Waka Tower. So I'm really happy actually that you are doing that, Christoph. And yeah, I don't need the minute actually, I'm done. So that's actually all I need to say is by inviting all of you actually to Stuttgart on the 3rd or 4th of July to see the machines. Sorry for the sound that potentially made you hard understanding the speaker, but I hope you did understand what my machine really affords.
Bravo. Bravo, Leonard, and definitely the pictures were really immersive, really engaging, and also at least I could follow the sound as well. So I'm sure that there was no any problem, and this is really amazing. You brought us here, and this personal invitation from you, that's really we appreciate. Thanks a lot for being with us, Leonard, and please stay with us because we will also have a creative platform coming up after the lightning talks, where we will count on your help to navigate in the STEAM universe. And now, when I mention STEAM universe, there is a sun, a central figure in our local solar system of STEAM, and that's Kati Clemens joining to us. She's a specialist research coordinator in the IT faculty of University of Jyväskylä, and definitely the STEAM action hero of our campus. So I'm really excited to have you here, Kati, and please share your contribution.
Hi guys, and greetings from Jyväskylä, where it is very sunny and very, let's say, snowy today, -12. Thank you, Christoph, for wonderful introduction. I realized that we are already just about 15 minutes late from schedule, or a little bit more than that, I suppose. So I will be brief with you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so I thought that I would discuss a little about our global challenges that we have been tackling. I guess that was the idea. As Christoph mentioned, I'm research coordinator. I work mainly in European projects on EdTech, but I have also worked for over 10 years in China as a visiting professor in Xi'an Shaodong Dashue. So Wode Chongwen Bu Hao. But Still, I can speak in English, which is good. And I have also been to Hong Kong 1.5 years ago. I think I was very excited. Hopefully, I can come again soon. In the European projects currently tackling with some global challenges, I thought that I would raise up some things that are going on. It was very interesting to hear your lightning talks from all over, because clearly there are some similar challenges, and these are real global challenges. And I think that this is one that all of us are facing, definitely. The AI is developing very fast, and the schools did not necessarily know what hit them about 2003 or 4 when all of a sudden we have this thing called the generative AI, and we have a small consortium of 4 countries around Europe. You can see a theme of Finland and Greece being in many of our my projects. I don't know why the Greeks love us so much or why we love them, but also Germans in most of my projects. In this one, we have started a AI readiness tool for schools to check their own AI readiness and check out what should they know, because at least in Finland they are a little bit like lost that, okay, we have heard that there is these new tools coming up, but what should we do? How should we use them? Is it something that concerns me? I have 12-year-old students, can they use ChatGPT? They have this kind of questions. So this AI readiness tool and also learning lesson plans and learning pathways that are open educational resources we are gathering and doing in this European project. You can also use them from ayproject.eu. They are already available. It has been going on for 2 years. Something that we have also tackled as a global challenge is that there is techno stress when we go to schools. The students and teachers and headmasters and so on, they are a little bit overwhelmed with all the notifications that are coming up, or there might be some stressful pressure coming from social media, these kind of negative evil sides of technology coming. And for that, we did a project called Positive Learn, and we're also starting a new one called the Perma Digital, also a European project against techno stress. That's something we have been doing. We were doing hands-on activities very similar to these creativity things, learning by doing, tactive learning. And for example, lots of playing with Lego, which actually teachers love more than the students because they don't really get to play around anymore. So I recommend you take some Legos with you if you go and talk to teachers. They get much more excited. Then there was a global challenge also. I guess this is a very old one already. There are all these jobs in the STEAM, and how do we motivate people into them? And how do we particularly motivate those female students? And very similar to this other talk earlier today about maternity leaves and so on. I appreciated that one. Can't remember your name now, sorry. But this project, Viral for STEAM, is doing some virtual reality scenarios and games for motivating secondary level students into STEAM careers. So that's very, very much in line with our conference today. And
1 minute,
finally,
Martin. Yes. Thank you.
finally, this is my final one. Also, teachers well, the kids, as we know, they are digi native, but the teachers still might need some help with particularly content creation, because the kids, they are all in the TikTok, but how to like tackle the new not like Word, Excel, and so on, but there are video creation, there is Canva, there are some new challenges, new tools, how to use them, and there is also a European project on teachers' digital content creation competencies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kati, for bringing the European perspective more stronger to the discussion. And actually, we are not in late. We cannot late today because, in fact, we keep getting new registrations still today morning. And now we will keep a break. We will keep 10 minutes break. But if you want to stay active, my colleague Orsi will tell you some kind of in the break activity will be possible. And also there is the economics style podcast you can listen during the break, and it might mention even you because some AI podcasts have been generated, and we will share it with you during the break. And after the break, we even have a Japanese speaker coming in, our guest today in the campus, and then we can collect the discussions in the Padlet. So Orsi, the floor is yours. Please let us know what to do in the break time. We will have 10 minutes break, so we will meet again 33. But Orsi, please explain what's going on in the break.
Yes. Okay. We had the same thing again. So yes, we have this fun activity for you. If you happen to come back sooner, or if you do not need a break, you can put here one word or a phrase that you think is the biggest driver of change in the future of STEAM education. So we can create a nice word cloud collage here, and then have some kind of inspiration and share our thoughts and ideas regarding this. So this is something, and then I will do my best to try to play the podcast that Christoph mentioned. So yes, I'll try to hit the play button, and please let me know if you can
everyone's always talking
hear
about
it.
Pi Day. Well, it's coming up
Right.
March 14th.
Yeah.
You know, all those like pie and pizza deals and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's that.
Now you can unmute your.
So the sound stopped. Maybe you need to restart you can leave it. You don't need to mute yourself, and then I think it will.
Interest group.
Yeah, maybe you can start
GRIFE
again.
Stands for the Global Research Institute for Finnish Education.
Okay.
Okay, so you know how everyone's always talking about Pi Day? Well, it's coming up
Right.
March 14th.
Yeah.
You know, all those like pie and pizza deals and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
But there's actually something else super interesting happening on that same day.
Oh, really? What's that?
It's the first online STEAM conference.
Interesting. Tell me more.
So this isn't just any online conference. It's really focused specifically on STEAM education.
Okay, get it.
And it's organized by something called the GRIFE Special Interest Group.
GRIFE.
Yeah, so GRIFE stands for the Global Research Institute for Finnish Education.
Okay.
And it's based at the Education University of Hong Kong.
Interesting. So there's a Finland-Hong Kong connection here.
Exactly. And they're all about improving STEAM education through research and developing new teaching methods and strategies.
So it's like a global collaboration focused on STEAM.
Right. And this conference is a big part of that. Now, this specific conference is all about mapping STEAM education in Finland and Hong Kong and how they're tackling global challenges in education.
Okay, so it's comparing approaches in these two very different places.
Yeah. And it's trying to figure out, you know, what works and why, and how can we learn from each other across cultures.
I see. So it's not just about Finland and Hong Kong, it's about the bigger picture.
Right.
So who's actually organizing this conference?
It's a team effort.
Yeah.
So from the Education University of Hong Kong, we have Dr. Wai-Chin Lee and Dr. Kip-Mei Jamilo.
Oh, okay.
And from the Finnish side, the Finnish Institute for Educational Research at the University of Jyväskylä, we have Dr. Christoph Fanivesi and Dr. Josephine Pikwalao.
Wow. So a really international team.
Exactly. And that makes it even more interesting, right? Because they bring all these different perspectives.
Absolutely.
So in this deep dive, we really want to get into the heart of this conference. Like,
Right.
what are the key ideas and what can our listeners take away from this?
Definitely. So we're going to be highlighting some of the big themes and the really cool stuff that the speakers will be talking about.
Sounds good.
It's a chance to like get a glimpse into the future of STEAM education and see what's gaining traction globally.
Okay, let's dive into the program though.
Sure. So first things first, we have a pre-conference networking session.
Networking, that's always important.
Yeah, for sure. It's a chance for attendees and speakers to connect before the official program starts.
Okay, makes sense.
Then after that, we move on to the opening of the conference by the GRIFE SIG STEAM team.
And then the main presentation.
Yes, exactly. We've got two keynote speakers.
Okay, who are they?
First up, we have Professor Jan Lundell from the University of Helsinki. He's going to be exploring something called phenomenon-based cooking with steam.
Phenomenon-based cooking with steam. What's that all about?
So it's using cooking as a way to teach science and technology and engineering and arts and math.
Wow, that's really creative.
Right. Like thinking of the kitchen as a laboratory where all these subjects come together.
I like that.
It's about making those abstract concepts more tangible and real for students.
Yeah, I can see how that would be engaging.
Definitely. And then the second keynote speaker is Dr. Peter Jihong Wan from the Education University of Hong Kong. He'll be presenting on the Sweetie STEM learning platform in Hong Kong.
Sweetie STEM. What a cute name.
Right. And his whole vision is STEM for all, STEM by all.
So it's about accessibility and making sure everyone can participate in STEM.
Exactly. He's going to talk about the platform, the teaching methods they use and the learning kits that they've developed.
How they're training teachers to deliver STEM effectively.
Right. And he's also going to touch upon how AI could be used in the Sweetie platform in the future.
Yeah, that's interesting. So they're really thinking ahead.
Yeah, definitely. And then after the keynotes, we have a series of lightning talks.
Lightning talks, what are those?
So they're basically short presentations, like 5 minutes or so.
Okay.
Just quick bursts of ideas.
I see.
And they're organized under two main themes.
What are the themes?
The first one is navigating the STEAM education continuum from classrooms to curriculum.
Okay, so it's about how STEAM is taught and how it fits into the overall curriculum.
Exactly. And under this theme, we have Miss Paula Walsh from Southeast Technological University in Ireland. Her talk is called I Said STEAM, Not STEM.
Oh, I like that title.
Right. She's really emphasizing the importance of the arts in STEAM education.
The A is often forgotten.
Yeah, and she'll be talking about her book too, Full Steam Ahead, which is all about practical ways to bring STEAM into early childhood education.
That sounds useful.
Then we have Dr. Mi Young Hong from Korea National University of Education.
Okay.
She's going to be talking about exploring the direction of pioneer curriculum design reflecting 21st century competencies.
21st century competencies, like what?
Things like critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, communication, all those skills you need to succeed in today's world.
Right, those are essential.
Exactly. And she's looking at how to design curricula that actually teach those skills.
Not just memorizing facts.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And then we have Dr. Kaisen Ka-Ching Chung from the Education University of Hong Kong. He's diving into incorporation artificial intelligence into science education in Hong Kong. Opportunities or challenges.
AI in education, that's a big topic.
Yeah, for sure. And he's focusing on research, like how do students understand AI and what role do teachers play in shaping that understanding?
That's important because AI is becoming more and more prevalent.
Exactly. We need to be prepared.
So that's the first theme. What about the second one?
The second theme is critical thoughts for the sustainable future for STEAM education from the societal, technological, and environmental perspectives.
So it's taking a broader view of STEAM and its impact on the world.
Right. And first up, under this theme, we have Mrs. Bying Nina Wen from Shanjiao Tong Liverpool University and the University of Liverpool.
Okay.
She's presenting on motherhood in STEM, burden or asset for female faculty.
That's a really important topic.
Definitely, it's about gender equity in STEM and the challenges that women face, especially those who are mothers.
Yeah, it's crucial to address these issues.
Absolutely. And then we have Dr. David Siskit Eng, also from the Education University of Hong Kong.
Okay.
He'll be talking about from AI literacy to generative AI literacy, from theory to practices.
Generative AI, that's the stuff that can create text and images and all sorts of things.
Exactly. And he's exploring how we can teach students about generative AI responsibly and ethically.
That's important. That's a powerful technology.
For sure. And finally, under this theme, we have Ms. Orsolia Tuba from the Finnish Institute for Educational Research at the University of Jyväskylä.
Okay.
She's presenting on sustainability and planetary well-being in SAAM, developing action competences for the future.
So how STEAM can contribute to a more sustainable world.
Exactly. She'll be talking about integrating sustainability into STEAM education and empowering students to take action.
That's really inspiring.
Right. It's showing that STEAM isn't just about theory, it's about making a real difference.
Yeah, I like that.
And after all those lightning talks, the conference will wrap up with a moderated discussion called STEAM Synergy.
So bringing everyone together to share their ideas and insights.
Exactly. It's about collaboration and finding common ground.
This whole conference sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn about the latest in STEAM education from around the world.
And it's happening on Friday, March 14th, 2025, which is Pi Day.
From 3:00 p.m. to 6:00 p.m. Hong Kong time and 9:00 a.m. to 12:00 p.m. in Finland.
And don't forget the pre-conference networking session starts 30 minutes earlier.
Exactly. Be sure to check it out.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from cooking to AI to sustainability and STEAM.
Yeah, it's amazing how diverse and impactful this field is.
And it's all thanks to the organizers, Dr. White Shin Lee, Dr. Kit May, Jamie Lowe, Dr. Christophe Fenevesi, and Dr. Josephine Piqualau.
They've done a fantastic job bringing together such a wide range of experts.
So for our listeners out there, I want you to think about this.
Okay.
How do you think these international collaborations and all these different perspectives are going to shape the future of STEAM education?
That's a good question.
And how can we learn from each other across cultures and adapt those insights to our own situations?
Yeah, it's about taking these ideas and making them work for us.
It's something to really think about beyond Pi Day.
Absolutely food for thought.
Definitely.
So, thank you so much. This is an AI-generated podcast. It made with a Google Notebook. And sorry if not every speaker's been recognized by these AI speakers, these AI podcasters, but definitely the program was keep changing since the last minute and even beyond. So, but I think these AI agents done a good job for refreshing our memories. What many things been discussed and then how many insights been shared today. And this is a good preparation for our sharing platform where we will implement the Padlet. Before we were doing that, let's have one more international step beyond, and let me invite Professor Fusagi, our friend Kevin, who is now physically inside in our campus in Finland, together with a teacher colleague. And I would like to ask Professor Kevin to have his contribution to our discussion and to our conference. Kevin, the floor is yours. I'm really happy that you are here, and we're going to meet physically in a few minutes. So Kevin, can you hear me?
Yes. I think Kelvin is coming.
Okay, good. Perfect.
To be in the panelists.
Okay. You can hear?
Yes, we can hear and see your wonderful Nordic lights above your heads. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay. I'm Kevin. I'm professor of Shinshu University in Japan. I was contacted by my friend Christophe and joined this webinar on short notice. I just arrived in Jyväskylä last night, and just now I was visiting a primary school class. In Japan, population decline has become serious problem due to the declining birth rate. There is a trend toward consolidating and measure schools. While this may be economically rational, I believe it we lead to the collapse of the local culture and the crisis in educational diversity, I think. And thank you for listening to me. I love Uvascula. I love Finland.
Thank you so much. In fact, the changes in the population and aging in the population that really heavily affect many locations around the world. So Japan definitely facing this crisis, as Professor Fusagi very much underlined this, but the same situation happening in Finland and very pressuring situation in Hong Kong as well. So just to share this common topic, that was definitely so important, and thanks a lot for bringing in this challenge, because this has the school closures, kindergarten closures, teachers need to be reskilled maybe, and other kind of careers need to be designed. So many challenges affecting the STEM and STEAM from this regard. So now I would like to ask Orshi and Josephine to share a screen with the Padlet, and let us see what's in the Padlet.
Yes, in a second.
Thank you. Yes. So you've been really busy in the Padlet. Thanks a lot for your contribution. So now we can, I think, move to the beginning of this Padlet. And Josephine, would you like to share questions, even so Paula, I can see that you had a question. Would you like to open your mic and summarize your question, Paula?
Hi, Christoph. Yeah, it was more of just a comment than a question. It's just as I was listening to Peter's presentation earlier on, and he was talking through sort of a framework, and I was just putting up some information there just about my own PhD research and a conceptual framework for incorporating STEAM into CPD training for early childhood educators. That's a part of an output of my, or will be when in the next few months when I submit my PhD research. So I was just found that Peter's presentation really interesting for that reason. It just sort of had some elements that reflected and reminded me of my own. So I just put that up there.
Thanks so much. So this is really the floor to ask questions from each other. So if you have any thoughts, anything in mind, even speakers to non-speakers or non-speakers to speakers, please bring this in. We have sort of 20 minutes to share insights and have some discussion.
Yes,
So anyone can switch in. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. The mic are open for our participants. So anyone who would like to share a comment or question, just feel free to raise your hand and open your mic.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, please, Peter.
Actually, I just think, actually, my curriculum is being used in primary and secondary schools. So I'm very curious about how the STEM activity can be implemented in early childhood. So I just very curious about Para's book, what is written in it, and how the activity is designed. Actually, I have a review have written a literature review on ECE STEM education, but I haven't and haven't went to the kindergarten to see how this activity is implemented. It's very interesting, and we can find opportunity to do some research okay, cross-culture comparison or something, or cooperation in curriculum development together in the future. I think it's very meaningful, and actually, Finland and Hong Kong are very excellent. Are very excellent in peace and the teams, and we have very good basis to perform well in STEM education.
Thank you so much, Peter. Let me ask Josephine and Dorshi if they could have the gallery view presented to us instead of the screen sharing. So we have the Padlet link in the chat, so you can contribute or take a look to the Padlet. But if you can have the gallery, if you can finish screen sharing, and we could have the gallery view that we could see all people in the room. That might be a better setting for conversation if it's possible.
Yeah, Christoph, we have a few hands, okay, from our panelists. We have
perfect.
Yan, and also we're from our attendees,
Yeah.
Ren. Yeah,
Yeah.
so maybe Yan first. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you change meanwhile? Stop screen sharing meanwhile, Joe.
We can.
Okay, perfect.
Just a moment.
Yeah, and change the view to gallery if it's possible. Okay. Yeah, Jan, please.
Okay, thank you. And this has been a very interesting morning. And there's lots of talk about preschooling and primary school STEAM education. But then if we think of in a Finnish and European context, for example, Finland has a what we call Luma strategy, a STEM strategy implemented already. And it refers to the whole STEM ecosystem in Finland. And last week, European Commission came out with the STEM strategy as well. Now, it would be interesting to feed some ideas to the participants that we shouldn't stop thinking about STEM and STEAM in the primary school stage, because the secondary school stage is actually very important for keeping the motivation to study sciences and technology. But then we have to consider also that this is a lifelong learning experience for everyone, because the technology, for example, is changing so fast that what we learned 10 years ago is obsolete basically today, and we live in a completely different environment. So now how we take the question is how we take the ideas and the experiences and what we learn from preschool and primary school education developments to support the lifelong learning in all ages, in all educational stages. Just a simple, small question.
Yeah. I think Paula at least addressed by this question. So, but anyone can contribute. But first, Paula, if you have to respond something.
Yeah, sure. And I think you make a very good point, that we don't know what jobs, what technology, is going to be in 20, 30 years' time, what the world is going to look like. It's going to be very different. And I think it's so important. I think that focus on STEAM right from the very start in early childhood education as building a foundation for children to develop their curiosity, their critical thinking, their problem solving, their openness to engage in STEAM activities and not to be afraid to make mistakes and to, be facilitated by their educators, around the engineering design process, for example, because areas of STEAM are so prevalent in the world and including, AI and future technological developments. So I think it's not about, there being too much focus at any stage on the educational continuum. I know here in Ireland, there probably isn't enough focus in early childhood, and they're placing an increased focus in our curriculum framework and policy around early childhood education on STEAM, because there's also they're building on the focus on STEAM in primary, secondary, and beyond, because we know the skills and dispositions it supports us to develop are going to be so important for our future innovators and problem solvers and inventors and technology developers and whatever. So I think it's really important because children are curious and they are problem solvers anyway. But why I think we need to maybe increase the focus a little bit in early childhood education is because the research, including my own, is sort of showing us that the educators who are facilitators of the environment and the resources to support STEAM in early childhood, the educators are lacking in their knowledge, their skills, and more importantly as well, their confidence to bring even the training that they've already engaged in around STEAM. Their confidence levels are a barrier to resulting in sometimes the training they do receive actually not ending up reaching the children in the classroom. And also if we think about the gender STEM divide, children in early childhood education, they form their concept of their own gender. They start to develop that by about 2, and there's research showing that by about 5 and 6 years old, children and girls are already associating ability in areas like maths and phrases like people being really, really clever with boys and not with themselves. So I think there's a lot of movement in supporting girls to engage in STEAM and STEM in primary and secondary. We certainly have a lot of different things going on here. But there's less outreach into the early childhood area. And I wonder, is that sort of contributing to that blockage in the STEM pipeline, because maybe we're not getting in there in terms of addressing girls' ability to engage in STEM, their belief in themselves to be able to engage in STEM early enough. So I think that it's only building on, the more we can bring STEAM into early childhood education, the more we can support the educators to bring STEAM in and facilitate children to engage in STEAM in early childhood. That's only going to support those children to have a foundation for when they develop more complex interaction with STEAM subjects in primary and secondary and beyond. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. And fortunately, it's not the situation in Finland, but there are some educational contexts where educational levels are sort of also representing some kind of weird hierarchies, and sometimes in some places it's thought that high school education or university education is like the top of the pop, and that's like the best thing and most important thing ever. And so many times it's also overlooked the role of the early childhood education. In Finland, the situation is quite on the other way around. I think we have a very wide social understanding of the strong foundations, and it's also reflected in the spendings. Not all the money is just the most important thing, of course, but if you take a look at how much is spent for an individual child in the educational system, in the basic education, you can find that early childhood education is the sort of most expensive, but the society is happy to afford to this, because there is also the understanding that there is no expensive education exists, but the lack of education is the most expensive thing. And to have the strong foundations, it allows you to also to reduce a little bit resources a bit later when you already establish these foundations. So now I see that Ferenc Jánosi raising hand. He actually led a student group and teacher group to Finland not too long ago. Ferenc, welcome. Would you like to talk to some speakers?
Yeah, if it's possible, yes.
Yes, welcome.
Can you see me? Because I don't saw my face. But
well, we don't see your camera, unfortunately, but we can hear you very clearly.
Mhm. But with my camera.
Yeah, maybe there is something with your camera, but don't worry about it. If we can hear you, that's very nice.
Well, I led group by Erasmus to Jyväskylä and Tampere, 14 students and 4 teachers, Christoph schools in Jyväskylä and Tampere. And
now we lost your sound and lost you. No. We can see you. Yeah, we can see you, but now you are muted. Can you unmute? Just press the microphone because we can't hear you now. A mikrofont kapcsolt be, légy szíves, ott a bal oldali alsó sarokban. Okay, now we have you.
maybe you can see
Yeah,
me.
we
And,
can see you and hear you now. Yeah, perfect.
and hear me. Well, I'm greetings all of you. I had the opportunity 2.5 years ago, or nearly 3 years ago, to lead a group to Jyväskylä and Tampere from Hungarian Christian school. The ages was the 9th grade school student, 14 student and 4 teachers was there, and it was very good to see you after that they came back to Finland, that they had a lot of changing their worldview. They learned English much, but they never use the same way that how can they use it in Finland. And after then, that was a good experience for them, that I can speak English and I can use in English. And it was for me, it was very good and cool to see that the Finnish educational program is thinking that I want the student needs what he needs in the future. That is my school goals. And our system is building our past and our history. And it was very good to see that how is in Jyväskylä the student can use a 3-dimension printer. Everyone has to be learned it how to use it. And nowadays in Hungary, if somebody is a new technology, maybe AI or some other online experience that they have, WordPad or some others, we sometimes learn it very, very later about this. And I think so that we lose a lot of opportunities and a lot of feedback from the teacher, from the student, if we are not so early to teach them how to use the new technology. And the other experience that I had in Finland, that was the lifelong learning, and how can be the learning as a good experience for them. Maybe Christoph, you can explain that we can build the tower all together with the Finnish and Hungarian students and teachers all together. And the project-based learning, it was awesome for me. And I am now teach teachers in Hungary about how to use completely the project-based learning, not only one subject focused learning. That's all that I really want to show you.
Thank you.
And it was very good to see that that the education could be a very good bridge building with other line of the society, each of country, and each of not only country, but each of nations, and the education can be a good bridge. And I could go inside in Hungary in the Finnish ambassador and his wife can expected us in his residency to speak about the educational program by Jukka Sinamaki, your colleagues.
Congratulations, Ferenc. It really shows that international experience from students and also STEAM and STEM can open many pedagogical gates. So STEM or STEAM is not a single method, but it's more like an approach, more like a view. And there can be many methods included, such as project-based learning or 3D printing usage, and many experiences, definitely. Thanks a lot for highlighting this. Now, see, we still have 3 minutes. If you have something to say, this is the moment to say it. Yes, someone is raising hand.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, please, Jamie. Jamie, welcome, Jamie. Jamie is
Hi, very
one
nice
of
to
the
meet you all and all the
core
participants
members.
here.
Yes,
Yeah,
please
actually, I
go
really
ahead.
want to turn on my camera, but I don't have that button. I'm not too sure
Oh.
whether it's attendees
Oh.
or whatever, but
Okay.
maybe.
I can do it now.
Okay, or she will help you to get you that button. Yes, we can see you, and now you unmute, and
Awesome.
here you go. So can you give us a conclusion, or can you give us some
Thank you very
closing
much,
words?
everyone. Yeah, it's a really a rewarding event, a very fruitful afternoon in Hong Kong. And of course, I would like to share just a little bit about like the STEAM implementation, especially we mentioned just now in early childhood setting and in Hong Kong context. Actually, we really try to conduct some STEAM activities like infused into the curriculum, because in the Hong Kong context, our curriculum guide for early childhood settings, we had like 6 learning areas, and then we try to follow it with the guide and then infuse these STEAM activities in different learning domains. For example, like nature, early math, and arts and creativity in the integrated curriculum style in the thematic approach. Yeah, so sometimes, for example, like we try to conduct like some interesting unplugged simple coding activities for children, like they do not really have to look at the screen, but then we can help them to train the computational thinkings, and then of course including some STEAM activities in some artworks as well to promote their creative thinking as well. So actually it's just some comments, but of course I really learned a lot from all of you, and it is really wonderful that we have such an engaging lineup of topics today in the STEAM education that they are shared in this conference, like the updated practice in different countries, the book sharing, which are really very valuable ideas for practitioners. So as an organizing member, so it is really a remarkable moment to join hands with you all to celebrate our first GRIFE SIG STEAM online conference in a success with all your huge contributions and participation. So thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Beautiful closing, and in fact, beginning and closing is really connected here, because actually it was Jamie, the first person I met in the Education University of Hong Kong. She had such a warm welcome, and we immediately started to discuss STEAM in early childhood education, and then bringing together with Professor Wai-Chin Lee, and now we are building our local team, and this STEAM SIG special interest group within GRIFE is growing. So I really hope to have Professor Jan Lundell, Paula, all our speakers joining our SIG. And also, if you got interested about GRIFE activities, please follow the GRIFE website being shared, and please get in touch with the colleagues, with the speakers you got to know today. And thanks a lot, big thanks for the a local team as well, Josephine, Orshi, Matthias. It wouldn't have been possible without your effort. I know that was also a learning process for all of us, but I think these exams passed and we got it right, and now we have the recording, and also if there will be some afterlife of these materials and continuation, you will definitely be among the first to be informed about our development. Thanks a lot again. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your effort. Thanks for joining, and see you soon again in Finland, Hong Kong, and all the other places around the planet. Thank you so much. See you soon.